So the next design feature we're going to talk about here is shapes. So with shapes, what you can do is select any one of these objects. So I can select a square, circle, diamond, rectangle, heart, and then you can modify it as needed. There's also a score line. So we'll cover each one of these in greater detail in future videos, in the following videos. But if we start with a square, or actually let's start with a circle, and you'll see just like the text, it places the circle within your design space. And you have these same icons and commands for sizing it. So I can change the size. So if I want to change that circle to an ellipse, you unlock it, and by unlocking it, now I can change the height or width of the circle. And if I lock it, you can see that now it's just going to let me change it accordingly. So if you want to get it back to a circle, you can either really just delete it, bring the circle back, or come back up here and unlock it, and then just set the width and the height to be the same size. So if I wanted that to be 6 by 6, then I would set 6 by 6 and lock it back, and it would be basically become a circle again. Obviously, with a circle, rotating it isn't going to give us any adjustments or changes, so we don't have to worry about that. But you can also see up above here on the edit bar, it's very similar to the fonts or the text, right? You have the color, you have the ability to select, you can edit, cut, copy, paste. There's no aligning, but you can arrange it where you can move it back and forth. So if I was to put this up here, you can see that I can arrange it and move it backwards. And do it one more time. I either send it back, and you can see that the circle is now behind the text, right? So if you wanted to put that circle, pick the text, put that circle around the text and still see the text, you would move it to the back. Okay, so maybe I change the color to lighter gray and select that. Okay. Then you can also, flip it again with a circle. You're not going to give too much ability to do anything with that. You're not going to see any differences, but you can then, adjust the height and the width, like I said, rotate, and then the position. So this would let you align the objects accordingly, right? So again, if I set this to 42, it's going to put the edge of this at 42, as well as if the edge of this is 42, then I've aligned my text with the edge of my circle, right? So instead of that, maybe we want it centered, or maybe I adjust my text and make that larger as well. But it's holding this edge as the position for the lower left corner of that text, as well as the same with the shape. So in the shape, the lower left corner, the upper left corner is the location for this circle. Same thing with the text. It's the upper left corner is that. So if I make this 8, you'll see that that upper left corner is on the 8 grid line. It'll be the same thing here is if I made this, let's go to 10, 11. Let's make that 11. It places the top of this at the 11 X or Y value, right? And then the same thing here. We can bring this guy and place him in the center accordingly. Right? So that's, basically working with a simple shape. And one thing to note, which I'll point out, is if you look over on the right, you'll see that there's a little warning symbol next to that layer for that circle. If you left click on that, it's going to tell you that it's not supported by Maker. So it's basically too large, right? So the Maker only has a certain width that you can use. So it has to be 11.5 by 23.5 or less. So basically what that tells me is that I can't create a circle of this size. So I would have to come in and adjust. So if I was to come in and, make this exactly 11.5, that error goes away, right? So now I'll be able to use this with my Maker, which is my experience. So even if I set this to the Joy, you can see that the Joy doesn't support this size of shape. If I set it to Explore Family or Maker, then I will have, I'll be okay with the 11.5. So that's how, just to let you know that what that warning message means, and that way you can adjust your graphics in your project accordingly.